So today, what we're doing is we're taking a look at the questions that were given during our GDS Math class on Saturday, February 20th, 2021, sorry, time is going by quickly. And the class was at 10 a.m. this morning, and it was online, taught by Mrs. Paula Burrows. So I am Bridget Mackey. I am the coordinator for the GDS group, and I'm also a huge math buff, right? So you'll see me helping out with math pretty much at every level. That's just how much I love math. So let's go ahead and let's get started with the answers for the assignment given during that class. So the topic that we covered today, we did a revision on ratio and proportions, and then we ended the session with probability. And you'll see here that we have a basic question that deals with solving the number of books given the value of one book and a total amount of money that we have. So the question tells us here that we have one book at a price or cost of $8. So one book is equal to $8. Now, what we need to do is we need to figure out if I have $42, how many books can I get with $42? Okay. And the simple way of figuring that out is we take our 42 and we do a simple division. We divide it by 8. 8 goes into 42. How many times? 5 times. We multiply. 5 times 8 gives us 40. We subtract. We have 2 here. Put a 0. Bring it down. And all our steps for long division. 8 goes into 20. 2 times. 2 times 8 is 16. Subtract again. Left with 4. Let's add another 0 behind the decimal. Bring that down. 8 goes into 40. 5 times. And then we multiply again. 5 times 8 gives us 40. Okay. So we see, based on our working, that it's 5.25 books. Now we can't have 0.25 or quarter of a book. We can only have a whole book, right? So for our purposes of this question, we leave our answer as simply 5 books. So the answer here, how many books can we get with $42 in hand? We can get 5 books. Okay. Let's move on to the next question. And we're going to put that question on the board. Okay, let's get that one going. Now, for this next question, there's actually, there we go, 2 methods that we can use to solve this. And we're going to go through each of the methods. Okay, starting with what may be perceived as the easier one. Let's just set it all up. Okay, put the answer way down at the bottom, give us some space to complete our working. Okay, let's read the question. The question says, Brianna, Shekinah, and Miracle shared $840 in the ratio of 2 to 3 to 4, respectively. How much money did Miracle receive? And let's underline Miracle. We're not interested in, well, the question is not necessarily interested in how much Brianna or Shekinah received, even though we could solve for those, and we will go through that. It specifically asks for Miracle. What did Miracle get? How did she do with her share in this money? Let's figure that out. So for the first method, what we do is we add the total number of ratios. So step 1, we add the ratios to find the total. And so when we do that, what we come up with is we're adding 2 plus 3 plus 4. That gives us 9. The second step is now we divide our total amount, which in this case is $846, by the sum or total of our ratios. And this was found in step 1. We should say from step 1. From step 1. Okay. So what does that look like? We know that our total number, the total amount that we are divvying up, is 846. And in this previous question or step, we already worked out what's the total of our ratios. So now all we need to do is we need to divide. And we are dividing 846 by 9. When we divide 846 by 9, we get 94. And let's just do our long division to show how we get to 94. Let's set that up. Okay, I have 846, and I'm dividing it by 9. I know the 9 goes into 84 9 times. 9 times 9 is 81. I'm subtracting. I'm left with 3. Bring down my 6. 9 goes into 36 4 times. 4 9s are 36. And bang, I'm done. Okay, and that's how we get 94. Okay, simple long division. So this 94, what that represents for us is the amount that each part gets. Right? Each part gets $94. So now I can solve what was asked originally of me in the question, which was, how much does Miracle get? And the way I solve is, I know that each part gets $94. Well, here, Miracle has 2 parts. sorry, Miracle has 4 parts. She's the last person listed, and that's the last ratio, it's 4. So if Miracle gets 4 parts, I multiply 94 that I got in step 2 by the number 4. And let's work that out. 94. So this working is for, this is for step 2. I'm about to do the working for step 3. 94 multiplied by 4. 4 times 4 is 16. 4 nines are 36. And 1 is 37. So Miracle gets $376 out of the total amount. Okay. Now, the question did not ask us to figure out how much Brianna and Shekinah got. But we could very well figure that out, right? So let's stick a pin in that. Miracle got 306, and we're going to, we know she got that because we multiplied 94 by the 4 parts that she had. I'm going to clean up my screen a bit, get rid of some of the stuff on here, because now what I want to do, and I'm just deleting everything, including the question, but I have my important bits still here. What we can do now is we can go ahead and figure out how much each of the other girls get. So how much Brianna and how much Shekinah gets. We can work that out. And you may be asking, well, why? You know, the question doesn't ask, right? Why do I care about what the other girls get? I'll tell you why. We care about the other girls because they help us to figure out whether we calculated Miracle's portion correctly, right? Think of it this way. Let's say it's a real life scenario and you are actually sharing this money with 2 other persons. Would you want to be shortchanged, right? You want to make sure that you get every penny that's owed to you, right? So it may, you know, be worth the extra effort if we just figure out, well, how much are the other girls supposed to get? So let's look at Brianna. We said that each part is $94. And the question tells us, even though it's not on the screen, the question told us that Brianna got 4, they got 2 parts, sorry. Miracle got 4, Brianna got 2. So if we do 94 times 2, let's see what that works out. We'll just do it over here. 94 times 2, 2 4s are 8, 2 9s are 18. Okay, so Brianna gets $188. Okay, let's stick a pin in that. We have one more person that we're interested in, and that person is Shekinah. Let's see what Shekinah gets. So again, 1 part, $94. We are told that Shekinah gets 3 parts. So we'll do 94 multiplied by 3. Let's work that out and see what that gets us. 94 multiplied by 3. And that should be a multiplication sign, sorry. 3 4s are 12. 3 9s are 27. 28. Okay, so we worked out here that Shekinah gets $288. Sorry, $282. So when we add the three of these up, let's do that. We should come back to a total of $846. Let's check. We have 376. We have 188. And we have 282. And we're adding. 6 plus 8 is 14, plus 2 is 16. Okay, looks good so far. Carry our 1. 1 plus 7 is 8, 8 plus 8 is 16, 16 plus 8 is 24. Okay, looking good. Carry our 2. 2 plus 3 is 5, 5 plus 1 is 6, 6 plus 2 is 8. So we get back our original $846. So none of the girls were robbed. They got the amount of money that they should have gotten. And we're happy. So that's method 1. All in the bag. Good day's work. So the other method, method 2, is the fractional method. And this is slightly different, but it gets you back to the same answer. Again, we are solving for miracle. So what we do is, let's figure out here. Our miracle, she receives the majority, right? She gets 4 out of the total. So the first thing we want to do is we want to figure out, again, like we did in the other method, what is the total number of ratios? So we find our total, and that gives us 9. Remember, we said 2 plus 3 plus, oops, that should be 3 plus 4 gives us 9, right? So instead of dividing here, what we do next is we actually form a ratio. Or we form a fraction, sorry. So we look for Miracle, since she's the person that we're finding. And we see that she's entitled to 4 parts. So we say we have a total of 9. And of that 9, Miracle should get 4. Right? So in our fraction, we have 4 out of 9. And we multiply this by the total amount, which in this case is 846. Okay, now 846 is a whole number. I want to turn it into a fraction. The way you turn any whole number into fraction is you put it over 1. From here, I can do some cross multiplication. 9 goes into 9 1 time. 9 can also go into 846 that we identified from the previous method. 9 goes into 846 94 times. From there, I am simply multiplying 94 times 4, and that gives me 16, carry my 1, 4 9 to 36, 376. So doesn't that look familiar from the other method? That's the amount that we saw Miracle getting. So we said step 2 is we find the fraction amount, which in this case was 4, because we know Miracle got 4, and we knew our total number was 9. So we got 4 out of 9, and then we multiply it by the entire amount. So we find the fraction for the person being evaluated. and then we multiply. Or you know what? Let's make that step 3. Step 3 then is to multiply by the amount being shared. So we multiply our fraction in step 2 by the amount being shared. Okay, and that's what we did. We found our fraction here, 4 out of 9. We multiplied it by the total amount being shared, our 846. And we ended up with, if we could squeeze it in there, 376. That's how much Miracle got. But remember what we did with the last method where we wanted to check, right? Because we want to make sure that we were not shortchanged or nobody else was shortchanged. Everybody got the fair and equal amount that they should have gotten out of this money, right? So let's clean up our screen. And it always does that. It takes everything away. That's okay. Come on. Let's get rid of you guys. The ones we're trying to clean up. Okay. Let's take it all away. Remember back in the days of chalkboards before Zoom and whiteboards when you had to erase the board? That's the equivalent right there. So let's remind ourselves, we already found out the amount that Miracle got. And we said that Miracle got 376. Now we're going to figure out how much each of the other girls got. We're going to start with Brianna. And just as a reminder, Brianna got 2 parts out of a total of 9. So for Brianna, it's 2 out of 9. And we multiply by our total amount, which is 846. And remember, because we're multiplying fractions, we make our whole number into a fraction by dividing by 1. 9 is common to both 9 and 846. 9 goes into 9 one time. 9 goes into 846 94 times. Let's multiply that out. So we're left with 2. Let's erase that. We're left with 2 times 94. And that is equal to 2 times 4 is 8. 2 times 9 is 18. So we're left with 188. I don't know why I like the corner so much, but we'll bring it over for the next one. Okay, so this one represents, who was the next girl? That was Brianna. And I think we remember this answer. Okay. From the previous method, Brianna gets 188. So our only person left is Miss Shekinah. Shekinah in all her glory. Let's see if we can clean up our screen without getting rid of our other values. Okay. Because we want each girl's value to remain on the screen. Good stuff. Yay. Just clearing out our whiteboard. Okay, we're done. Now we are looking for Miss Shekinah. Just love that name. Shekinah in all her glory. So how do we figure out Shekinah? Well, Shekinah's portion equated according to the question. Shekinah got 3 parts. And remember, we had a total of 9 parts. So Shekinah got 3 out of 9. And our total amount, once again, was 846. To make a whole number fraction, put it over 1. Now, we can do this in one of 2 ways, simplify in one of 2 ways. We can say 3 goes into 3 once, and 3 goes into 9 3 times. Or we can do, or we can cross simplify. We can say 9 goes into 9 once. 9 goes into 846 94 times, either way. And then we multiply 94. Let's clean that up. That doesn't look like a 9. That looks like doodle. Okay, so we have 94 times 3. 3 times 4 is 12. 3 9s are 27 plus 1 is 28. So for Miss Shekinah and all her glory, she gets $282. And solving this fraction, our answer is in fractional form, but we're going to convert it to a whole number. Any number divided by 1 is the value in the numerator position. Okay, so Shekinah gets $282. Now what we want to do is, we're going to just clean up a little portion of our screen. Now what we want to do is we want to go ahead and do just a check to make sure that everybody got what they should have gotten, right? So we're just going to add up each of the values and make sure that our total comes back to the original amount, which was the $846. Okay, it's all clear. Oh, let's go ahead and get Shekinah on the board. Shekinah, right there. It's 8. There we go. So let's add these up. Okay, 376 plus 188 plus 282. Looks familiar, right? 8 plus 2 is 10, 6 is 16, 3 8 is 24. Okay, 4 plus 4 is 8. So we are back to our original. So everybody gets what they should have. Okay, so there you go. Those are your 2 methods to solve proportion, this type of proportion question. So for this next question, part A is a simple ratio question that we're solving the ratio of boys to girls. That's pretty straightforward, but you will see for part B where another skill is added. So we'll talk about that more once we get to that portion of this question. For now, let's just look at what we're being asked. We are asked to write the ratio of boys to girls in its lowest terms. So we know we have 14 boys, and it does say write the ratio of boys to girls. So boys would come first. So our ratio is 14. Remember, we have a colon in between. Girls is 18. And it says in the lowest terms. So we can simplify these. What factor is common to both 14 and 18? We have 2. So 2 goes into 14 7 times, 2 goes into 18 9 times. So our ratio is 7 to 9. We could also write this as, remember the other forms that Ms. Burrows talked about? We can write it as 7 over 9, or we could write it as 7 and actually put in the word 2, 9. Those are the 3 ways that we can write the answer to this particular problem. But since they didn't specify, anyone is fine, we're just going to write it with the colon. Okay, that's the first part. Now let's take a look. Let's clear our board, clear our drawings, and let's take a look at the second part. So part B to this question says, write the number of girls as a percentage of the class. So in this case now, what we need to do is we need to find out what's the total number of students in this class. And to do so, we take our 14, our number of girls, and we add it to the number of boys, and that gives us a total of 32. Now I can write my proportion of girls to the entire class, right? And my proportion of girls to the entire class is 18. Remember, girls come second in the information that we're given. It's 18 to 32. Now, remember, just recently in part A, we said that we can write this in one of 3 ways. Now the question switches and it's asking us for percentage. So we can convert a fraction to a percentage. Remember those conversions? So I can write this, and sorry, before we move on to that, notice that we're not in the lowest form. So I may want to go ahead and write this in its lowest term before I start my conversion to a percentage. So another way I can write this is if I divide both sides by 2, 2 is a common factor to both 18 and 32. If I divide both sides by 2, 2 goes into 18 9 times. 2 goes into 32. 2 goes into 18 9 times. And 2 goes into 32 16 times. So that is what my simplified ratio looks like. Now I can put this in fractional form. So to do so, it would look like this. 9 divided by 16. But remember now, I am converting this to a percentage. So to convert 9 out of 16 to a percentage, I multiply by 100. And again, we're multiplying fractions. So I put my 100 over 1. Okay, now I can simplify this. I can cross simplify. There's a common factor between 16 and 100. That is 4. I'm going to go ahead and use that. 4 goes into 16 4 times. 4 goes into 100 25 times. And then I do the multiplication of 25 times 9. 5 9s are 45. 2 9s are 18. I'm left with 225. So 225 divided by 4. Not quite done yet. So now I am going to go ahead and do my long division to solve this, okay? So you see, we don't need a calculator to go ahead. We got brain power. Now we can do this. We can figure this out. Right? So let's clean up some space here so we can do our long division. So I'll clean this up as well. We're erasing our board, giving us space as long division can get. You know, that's why it's called long division. It gets pretty long. Okay, I'm gonna put my value back over here. Where we had this value simplified equals 9 to 16. Right? 9 to 16. Okay, there we go. Now, we are working this out. That's an improper fraction. We need to simplify that, and in simplifying or creating a mixed number, that's how we find our percent. So we're writing 225 divided by the number 4. 4 goes into 22 5 times, because 4 times 5 is 20. We subtract, we're left with 2. We bring down our 5. 4 goes into 25 6 times. 4 times 6 is 24. We subtract 1. We'll put a decimal in, and let's bring down this 0. 4 goes into 10 2 times. 2 times 4 is 8. Subtract, left 2. Put another 0 here. 4 goes into 25 times 4 times 5 is 20. Can I get it? Can I fit it? Can I fit it? Okay, I kind of barely almost fit it. Oh, it gave me some more space. It's not generous. Okay. So, in case you couldn't see that, you can't see that because it shifted everything up for me to give me some space. But my number is 56.25. That's my percentage. Converted to a percentage, we end up with 56.25%. And that's the quantity of girls, or the percentage of girls in the class. And if we look at it, we have 18 girls in a class of 32 people. 18 is a little more than half of 32, as is 56 is a little more than half of 50%. Okay, so it took us a little ways to get there, but we got it. So keep in mind, when you see these questions, there are different concepts that can be combined, and you're asked to solve for, you know, any number of things can be combined in a question. So you have to have a good command of how to, the method used to work these problems, okay? Hope that was clear. And so we will see you in part 2 of this particular assignment, working through the answers for it. Okay, thank you, and I'll see you in a bit.